I mean, Gary, I know you're the Everton manager, but at least try and have some sort of basic logic to your trolling. Hello everyone, welcome back to more Careering Onwards with me, Mr. Grand 2, here with Liverpool. And what on earth is this man? And what on earth is this man going on about? Absolute nonsense coming out of Gary Monk's mouth. Just baffling, just absolutely baffling. Because, I mean, let's look at the Premier League table. Let's go straight there and prove Gary Monk how wrong he is. We are, as you can see, top of the pile after 11 games. Just the 1 point clear of Manchester City. But given the fact we were second last time, that is something I will absolutely take. Our form is good, it's looking good. We'll have a look at the results in a second, but you can see the big news there. Manchester City have lost for the first time this season, going down 2-1 to Wolves. Extremely good news for us. It meant we could then leapfrog them back up to the top of the pile. Spurs, Arsenal rounding out the Champions League places at the moment. But Everton, where are they? They're in 13th. They're in 13th. So I don't know, I mean, he thinks we're going to get relegated. I don't know what he's been taking. And this then is our recent form. We'll start with the fact that we trashed Everton 4-0 at Goodison Park. I wish I'd put that in the episode rather than the Man United game that was dull as ditch water. But yeah, Gary Monk's Everton absolutely annihilated. 2 from Lucas Paqueta, 1 from Mohamed Salah and 1 from Jordan Richard, who has been in excellent form. Salah got injured in that game. He was kicked by an Everton player, so he was out for 3 weeks or so. And Richard came in and did fantastically well in his place. Following that, then after the international break, we then beat Southampton 2-0. Colin Nicholson, Marko Vujovic getting amongst the goals. And 0-0 with Inter Milan in the Champions League away from home. Not too bad at the Giuseppe Meazza or San Siro to you and me. A 3-0 win then against Aston Villa. Rafinha scored, Richard scored, Paqueta scored as well. Another 3 points on the board. We then played Villa a few days later in the EFL Cup 4th round. This time it was the second string playing. They just scraped past on penalties. A full conversion of those penalties, though, got the job done. We are safely through into the quarter-final, where we will play Fulham in that one, which is a pretty kind draw. Actually, it's broken out quite nicely because Man City are out, Spurs are out, Arsenal are out as well. Just Chelsea and Manchester United left with the sort of big guns. And Everton, who, I mean, they're just a joke, really. So hopefully we can do well in that one. And then most recently a 2-0 win at the Steve Gibson Park, because Middlesbrough have now left the Riverside and they have named their stadium in a completely non-egregious way for the chairman. A 2-0 win for us though. Colin Nicholson again, Marko Vujovic again. It's we've got a lot of young regens in the attacking area of the pitch and they're doing a fantastic job. And then you can see that in the Premier League top scorers. Mohamed Salah is still leading the way, although I think that's by virtue of seniority, locked on 5 goals with Nicholson and with Vujovic and with Paqueta. Not as many as Kane or Radu, the Romanian that Manchester City signed, who is, well, he's good, isn't he? He's very good. But still incredibly good to see so many players scoring such a high amount of goals at this relatively early stage of the season. Salah still competing for the average rating. He's 34. As I say, he's been a bit injured, but he's still fine. He's still really good, and we're going to have to renew his contract again because, I mean, Juventus want him. He's still amazing. But speaking of the injury to him, we have had a few injuries to some other players, and it's left us a little bit short in the right-back position because both Trent Alexander-Arnold and Max Aarons are injured. Aarons is not too far out, and then even then Trent's only out for 3 weeks. But we're going to have to play Joe Gomez there today, which is a little bit unfortunate. Frankie de Jong has also been injured for a couple of weeks and will still be out for 3 weeks more, so disappointing to lose some key players there, but the results, as you've seen, have been pretty good. And we've got ourselves a B rating as well from the board, which I think is probably the best manager performance we've had at Liverpool since we've been here. They're looking very happy with pretty much everything that we are doing, and we are, well, I mean, they still want us to win the Premier League, of course, and it's going to be difficult with Manchester City, but we're still there, we're still competing. And also the 2 Nations League games that we played in the international break in between the episodes. It was a 1-0 win against Turkey and then a 1-0 win against Croatia. Kylian Mbappe scoring in that one. Unfortunately, a few days later, when he was back at PSG, he's done his cruciate ligament in and he's out for 5 to 7 months, which actually will benefit us if we ever play PSG in the Champions League this season. That would be a benefit for that. He should actually probably be back for the Nations League finals, and even if he's not, it's only the Nations League. It's not like he's missing a Euros or a World Cup. And we already won the Euros when he missed that one. So, I mean, yeah, just Just a bit unfortunate for him. Anyway then, today we have got 2 games to play, one in the Champions League and one in the Premier League. We've got Inter Milan, first of all, in the Champions League, followed by Wolverhampton Wanderers, the conquerors of Manchester City, in the Premier League. They're having a very good season, up in 5th place. But it's the Champions League we've got to worry about first. Let's have a look at Group E. We are top of the group, but 1 point clear of Sporting, who are on 6 points. Inter Milan down in 3rd on 4. Legia Warsaw, effectively already out of the competition. So if we can beat Inter today, that will take a big step forward for us to qualify for the next round. It won't get the job done, but kind of more or less will, and we can sort of rest for some of the other games. Joe Gomez has come to complain about the fact that he's not playing much first team football. Did he miss the conversation we just had about both of our other right backs being injured? You're going to be playing at least the next 3 weeks worth of football, Joe. Pick your moments, please. Right then, Inter Milan, managed by former Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola, who's been around a little bit. After leaving, he got sacked by City at the end of the first season. Then he went to Spurs. Then he was in charge of Spain for a bit, and now he's in charge of Inter Milan. So, a little bit of a slight downturn in fortunes for Pep, really. But let's see how we can get on against him today. And here's how the team is looking. As we discussed, a little bit worse for wear. No Trent Alexander-Arnold, no Frankie de Jong. They are both injured for today, but otherwise pretty much who we would expect to be playing. Alisson is going to be in goal. Rafinha at left back, going incredibly well so far this season. Thatcher and Van Dijk still solid at the back. Joe Gomez is going to be at right back. Salvador has done very well since replacing de Jong in his absence. Bentancur and Paqueta continuing their excellence as well. Vujovic on the right hand side has been sensational. He is just... I'm not sure I've ever really had too many players who are fully 5-star current ability, but he fully deserves it. He's been sensational. And when you look at his finishing, for example, which was, I'm sure it was only like in the, can we even, I don't know if we can even check it. We can. When he joined, it was, I think it was 10. I don't think it was any more than 10 or 11, but it's gone up to 14, which is really the testament of how good and how well he's developed. Mohamed Salah aging like a fine wine on the left hand side. Richard on the bench if need be. They've both been brilliant. There's not much to choose between them really. And Nicholson up front has certainly improved his recent form. 5 goals as we've seen in 10 in the league so far, 6 overall. Not maybe as much as I would have hoped for, but he's certainly putting in a good performance. Big test for us though in Milan, and well, some familiar faces in this lineup, that is for sure. Ferland Mendy's been a big part of my French national team setup. They've got Kimpembe, they've got Llorente, Barella still there, and then it's the front 3 really. Morgan Rogers, who they have signed from Manchester City, he's pretty good. Diego Lainez, who I put a few bids in for last summer before we got Richard. It was a potential option. I'm glad we got Richard. And then up front, we know him, we love him, he's their top goal scorer, and we are kind of the reason why he's this good. Sebastiano Esposito, of course, who we had on loan for 2 seasons when we were at Leicester, and he was really very good. Certainly his championship season, and 14 and 32 in the Premier League is pretty good too, isn't it? And since then, he has continued that, going from strength to strength at his boyhood club. Rejected a 150 million, something like that, move to Real Madrid last summer. He's staying at Inter, and he's really good, but we do know all about him. So these players don't know all about him, but we do, so hopefully we prepared them all in training. But expect nothing but a win from this one. The game in Italy was pretty bad. It was a very nothing game, and we weren't very good, but here at Anfield hopefully we should have the quality to get the job done. And we got an early chance to do just that, working it nicely from the back. Vujovic in acres of space to find a ball in. He goes back to Salvador, who's been a little bit crowded, but he lays it off to Paqueta, and Vujovic gets it back again. They're not really closing him down particularly, allow a ball in, and then it was still another opportunity for us to work it, and indeed we do, bouncing around a little bit in the box, but Nicholson lays it off to Vujovic, who doesn't provide the assist. He provides the goal instead, and that's fine by me. Gomez lays it off to Bentancur, and there we go. Nicholson did try and strike it. It was a brilliant tackle to deny him, but the loose ball is dispatched by the German wing wizard, and we have got an early breakthrough here in a pretty must-win game. There's a highlight straight after the goal, which is always very suspicious, and I just don't approve of it at all. Inter coming forwards. Amian, who has also played for our French side, has been robbed by Mohamed Salah. Down the left-hand side, it's been blocked and gone back to Rafinha, and he's been blocked and it's gone back to Salvador, who instead switches the play across to the right-hand side. Joe Gomez has done something horrible. Esposito's in. It's a weak effort, luckily, but pretty shocking from Gomez there. And at half-time, that is that. We had a free kick, which was pretty easily saved by Andre Onana in the Inter goal. So, yeah, nothing much since ours that has happened, really. But we've got the lead. Let's just keep it up. Don't do anything stupid in the second half. Mohamed Salah with another free kick. This one is, I mean, it's very similar to the one that I didn't even put in. But I kind of have to put this one in because I'm talking so much over it. And the highlight's not over. Alisson with a pretty dodgy goal kick, which Inter can work with. Rodgers again with a dodgy pass. A lot of dodgy passes today. Callum Nicholson's in. It's saved by Onana. Corner from Inter though. Kimpembe looking for it. It's been knocked down by Dominguez, who smashed it in. I think it's hit Kimpembe, and because it's hit Kimpembe, it's been ruled out. Certainly looking a bit more edgy in this half though. Lainez again with a free kick, and it's Kimpembe again nearly scoring. Need a second here. Nicholson after Rafinha. Vujovic is in, and Vujovic does score. I mean, this is a relief, really. Rafinha with the throw. Nicholson, good play from him. Give and go with Rafinha, puts the ball back in, and Vujovic, he's improved his finishing, but his heading was always good, and it's another headed goal from him. 2-0, looking good. Right, Vujovic is on a hat-trick, but we're going to take him off because his fitness is not his strong point, and Salah as well has, of course, been injured recently, cannot afford to risk him either. Time taken away here, and Gomez is lacking a little bit of fitness, given the fact we have no other right-back options. Can't afford to risk him at all, so bring Lefebvre on to cover at the right-hand side. I don't think it's going to really matter. And indeed, it doesn't matter at all. 2-0. Job absolutely, totally done. Very nice indeed. Sporting winning their game as well, which means I think we may well have actually qualified in terms of head-to-head ahead of Inter. I'm not sure, but in any case, still to play for who's going to win the group between us and Sporting. But I'm pleased with that result. Well done, boys. Getting the job done. Thoroughly professional job. And I think that we'll see if we've qualified. We do. We have indeed qualified for the first knockout round, I'm assuming, because of the head-to-head type stuff. And our final group match is against Sporting, so that could potentially be decisive. I think if they lose to Inter Milan, and we beat Legia Warsaw, then we should, if my understanding of numbers is correct, we should win the group there and then. So we'll have to we'll see what happens in that one. That may well be what we come back to next time. If not, then it's because we won the group anyway. Manchester City grabbing a narrow win against West Ham, so we need to beat Wolves today to go back above them onto the top of the table. It's going to be difficult. Wolves are in excellent form. We know how good they are. They beat Man City, so at least we're at home for this one. And the manager of Wolves is, I'm not even going to try and say that because that's just going to go horribly wrong. The team for this one then is going to be exactly the same. De Jong, Aarons and Alexander-Arnold all still not back, so no need for any changes. I don't think some of the fitness is a little bit slightly lower than I would like, but I think hopefully should be enough in this one. We've got an international break after this, so it should give some of these boys a chance for a little bit of a rest. Obviously most of them are internationals, so not that much of a rest, but we can hope. Very decent squad from Wolves. Dendonka's still there, but they've got Zivkovic, they've got James Garner, who we had on loan at Leicester very briefly, Dwight McNeil, Johnny, Ben Godfrey, Lindelof, Dumfries, Lafont in goal, Dumbia. I mean, they've got some fantastic players. Striker, he's faceless. Yanis Bagrio, I think, does he start the game at PSG? No, he does not. He starts the game at Auxerre. And his goal scoring record isn't amazing, but it's pretty good. So he's probably going to get a hat-trick today, of course. But I expect nothing but a win. We played really well against Inter. Let's do the same again here against Wolves. Go back up to the top of the table and just show Man City what we're all about. Well, 20 minutes in, absolutely nothing has happened. It's thrilling. I mean, this is the same as the last episode, just in reverse. We've got a European game that we win, and then a really completely boring Premier League game. We need a breakthrough here at some point. We can't afford to drop points again. It's the draws. They're what's cost us so far in terms of not having a a more sizable lead over anyone else, and it looks like it might be costing us today. 0-0 at half time. Disappointing. Absolutely nothing apart from a yellow card for Van Dijk. Finally a highlight. Unfortunately, it's a corner for Wolves. Zivkovic puts it in, and it's been put in by Victor Lindelof. And we saw it coming, really. I saw it coming. It's Bagrio who's got the assist. He's knocked it on, and Lindelof, who is, he's very clearly onside. The two players on the post doing nothing, and we're in all sorts of bother here. Chance for an immediate response though. Salah puts it across. Van Dijk doesn't score. I think this is the first time we've been losing all season. We haven't lost all season. We're on a massive unbeaten run in the league, and this would be a bad way to lose it. It's a W team, but it's not even Watford. Nothing happening in this second half at the moment. We're chasing a point here when we should be getting all three. Gomez can't find a ball across. Vujovic can, and Paqueta, he's gone wide. Wolves, obviously a good team. They have form when it comes to beating the big sides. And there's 10 minutes left, and we're offering absolutely nothing. I don't want to bring Keita on because he's still really quite unhappy. Who do we take off? We've got two of the best wingers in the division doing nothing much. I'm going to bring Moussa Dembele on for Nicholson, who again he's a little bit hit and miss. We need to see more. I can't shout at them. That's not an option. Salah's anxious. Get him off. Get Richard on. And then Bentancur is going to have to come off. We'll bring on Keita and just hope he can do something. I don't think it's going to happen though. And the fact that we're going to lose at home is very, very frustrating. If it was at Molineux, I wouldn't mind so much. But we are going to have a brilliant opportunity to go back on top of the Premier League. Man City lost, and all that we've done is lose ourselves and let them have a 2-point lead again. We might equalise in the final seconds here. I'm going to demand more, but I don't think it's going to make any difference, is it? 1 minute on the clock, and this game is just very annoying sometimes. Absolutely dreadful. I expect to see you all in training tomorrow. How on earth that's happened? We haven't really created any chances. That's what's happened. Wolves are a good side, so there's no shame in losing to them, really. Man City have lost to them. It's just really irritating that we had the opportunity. They slipped up. We had the chance to go above them. We did go above them, and then as soon as we get an opportunity to go back on top again, we just slip up all over again, and we're back where we started, which is 2 points behind them. And the fact that it's happened at Anfield, I think we've actually dropped all of our points at Anfield. I'm going to have to check this, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, the 0-0 with West Ham was at home. The 0-0 with Man City was at home. And now the 1-0 defeat to Wolves, bringing a massive unbeaten run to an end, was at home. That's not what I expect in front of the Anfield faithful. Very, very, very disappointing result. Not good enough at all. And it leaves us 2 points behind Man City, which is, I just feel that's how it's going to end this season. I feel that's how it's going to end. We're not going to have an unbeaten season, which was never really likely to happen, but 26 matches without defeat, and it comes to an end against Wolves in pretty limp fashion. A free kick routine that we don't properly deal with, and then absolutely nothing from us. It's not even like any one of us played particularly badly. They were very good defensively, but we just did not have enough, and that is the kind of fine margin that is going to win you a league title or not. And well, that's 3 games. 9 points should have been had from 3 home games, and all we get instead is 2. It's not good, is it? It's not good. So there we are then. We await for Manchester City to slip up once again. It's not in our hands. It should be in our hands, but it's not, due to some pretty dodgy finishing. But that is going to wrap things up for today. Next time we will be back potentially for the Sporting and Chelsea games, because maybe we shouldn't play any home games. Home games are the issue, clearly. We should just play away. When's the next away games? We play that instead. I say it might be Sporting and Chelsea, but then if we beat Legia Warsaw, we will probably, I think, win the Champions League group. So there's not really much point in playing the Sporting game, particularly. I'm more interested in Man City. We have to play that one. That'll probably be the game we come back to next time, either with the Aston Villa game or maybe with Bournemouth, depending on how I'm feeling about our home form. If for some reason we don't beat Legia Warsaw, then we will be back for the Sporting and Chelsea game. But I think, yeah, City is probably where we're going to go up to now. Go quite a bit more of a chunk into the season, and hopefully we will be in a bit of a better shape for a league title challenge. But we are relying on Man City to drop points once again. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe as well so you don't miss the next one. And I will see you next time.